I've been performing rolling fast consistently now for 425 days. I am currently 61 and a half hours fasted, and I'm breaking later tonight at the 65-hour mark. So after completing today's fast, this will be the third 60-plus hour fast back to back. I would say 65 hours, but my last fast, I believe, was 64 hours and 38 minutes. The one before that was 68 hours. Today should be 65 hours minimum. So 3 back-to-back 65-ish hour fast. This morning I weighed in at 147.2 pounds. I'm still a bit higher than where I'd like to be, but my plan moving forward is to really just continue doing 65-hour fasts. I haven't publicly solidified it yet, but really what I'd like to do is just 65-hour fasts for the entire month of January. Now, whether I do that, I keep saying I'm not exactly sure, but I should really just cement it and say, nope, gonna do 65-hour fast. But then I'm just wondering, well, maybe something might come up for the month. See, this is me messing with my head and not just doing it because I know I need to do it. Because come the second half of February and probably even the first half of March, I will not be in a regular routine. So I'm thinking I should just push hard right now until February or mid-February comes. But that's really where I'm at right now. I still want to get in the lower 140s. My goal is to get even in the 130s and then possibly even lower than that, but that's not until the very end of 2025. And that number is really gonna depend when I get my next DEXA scan done. Really, like I've said before, the main goal for me is to just continue getting the excess fat off of me and putting on as much muscle as I possibly can. That is really my ultimate goal. Rolling fasts are how I lost 80 pounds in less than 5 months and have kept it off 9 months later. No pills, no meds, no injections, no surgery, just fasting. I've been overweight, obese, morbidly obese my entire life. As a kid, a teen, an adult, and even in my 40s. But here I am today at 44, still able to make positive changes in my life, and so can you. I know I talk about my age a lot, but I really take a lot of pride in being 44, in being my mid-40s at this point, and being the healthiest and happiest I've ever been. And I really do take a lot of pride in that because for me, as a teenager, as an adult, in my 20s, in my 30s, and even in my early 40s, I've had zero, for the most part, zero control when it came to taking care of myself. I would be depressed because I couldn't lose weight, and then I would eat out of coping and out of emotional whatever, out of stress. For whatever reason, food has always been, I say whatever reason, but I know I would eat food because I enjoyed it. It made me feel like nothing else mattered. It helped me escape. It helped me run away from my problems, things that I thought I would have never been able to figure out. And luckily, in a weird way, fasting, and it's not weird, but fasting has, for the most part, given me some stability. I don't even want to say some stability. Fasting in this way, getting into a routine, figuring my shit out, using fasting as the foundation has really changed my life. Because I would have never thought at 44 years old that this could have happened, that this would be a thing, that I would say in my mid-40s, I would be the healthiest and happiest I've ever been. Because when you're like me and you've been living through the same shit over and over and over and using food to deal with my depression, using food to escape, using food to run away, I really didn't see a way out. I thought that this just would control me forever until something happened to me. And you know what though? It doesn't also mean that everything is cured and everything is just perfect. I think for me, it's more the fact, the reality that I will always have to fight my way through this, that I will always have to be consistent. I will always have to be transparent and honest. I will always have to do what I need to do to continue staying healthy, to continue to stay healthy, to be happy. These are things that I don't just run on autopilot and say, okay, everything's great now. Every day has to be pretty much a day where I realize, okay, I gotta get to work. I gotta do the things that are important to me. I gotta do the things that are healthy, and happy for me. Fasting can be intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. You're not competing with anyone but yourself. Ask yourself this: are you doing something every day in your life to make a happier and healthier you? And I'm not just talking about fasting, I'm talking about the world outside of fasting too. Are you making sure your refeeds aren't going too long? Are you making better choices when it comes to nutrition? Are you getting your steps in 4 or 5 times a week? Are you strength training 2-3 times a week? Are you getting consistent quality sleep? And maybe one that we're all too hard on ourselves for is, are you giving yourself grace and taking a step back when or if you think you're pushing yourself too hard and being okay with it? Are you practicing imperfect consistency? Can you still log your data? Actually, will you still log your data even if you just completed an 11-hour fast and tell yourself it's gonna be okay? You're gonna break your fast, you're gonna refeed, and then you're gonna go again. Not without starting over, but just continuing on. And when you do something like that, can you show up for yourself in a way that you haven't before? I'm just gonna take a quick minute and talk about grace real quick. If you have been watching me for a while, you have heard me talk about grace many times and giving yourself just the opportunity to pull back if you need to. And I'm just gonna put it simply this way. If you are not giving yourself grace because you feel like you're not doing enough, because you feel like a 10-hour fast isn't good enough, what's the point of timing it? Then you're still, in a lot of ways, in an all or nothing mindset, in a black and white type personality, because you're not giving yourself the opportunity to accept the fact that some days you're gonna have a shorter fast and you're going to need to work on the other things that are important to you, or that you're not gonna have the longest fast, but the other things are still important to do. Taking care of yourself in other ways are still just as important, and you can't just throw everything away. You can't just push everything to the side and say, I'm gonna deal with it later, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna log my data, I'm not gonna show up and be accountable. Once you start doing that, you're still in that all or nothing mentality, in that black and white cycle. Trust me, this is coming from somebody who has been there time and time again. It is not a good place to be in. Yes, obviously I fast, and I've been showing all of you that I've been consistently doing this now for well over a year. But hopefully you've realized that it takes more than just fasting to get where I'm at today. Because you shouldn't forget about the other mechanisms, the other levers when it comes to weight loss, when it comes to health and happiness. Fasting is only one tool in your toolbox. Don't forget about the others. You've heard me talk about the levers before. The levers are very simple. Fasting is a lever. How good, how strong, how hard are you pushing that lever? If your lever is up here, pretty much like how mine was at the very beginning, then the other levers when it comes to weight loss, whether it is diet, exercise, and you know what? There's another lever here that I have never really talked about before because I didn't put it in priority like I am now, or importance like I am now, is sleep. I'm very good at fasting, but my diet lever isn't the best. Over time, my fasting lever is not as strong just because I don't fast as long, but my diet has cleaned up. Yes, volume is still very high, still something I'm working on, but in combination with exercise and now recording my sleep, being very intentional about getting a good amount of sleep, I feel like all of these are starting to work together to really balance things out. So I am going to remind you, this is not just about fasting. It can't just be about fasting, because even if you're the best faster in the world, you are going to have to continue to work on these other things. Your diet, your nutrition, the length of your refeed, the way you exercise, the way you sleep, the way you give yourself positive mental health, the importance of mental health. All of these things play a factor. If you are struggling, if you need someone to talk to, if you need someone to help you when it comes to fasting or weight loss or accountability or nutrition or exercise, please feel free to reach out to me. There is a link in the description when it comes to coaching. Yes, I do offer coaching. Yes, there are still time slots available. I usually will give a good amount of my time to help people that need help. Listen, I'm not saying you need me to figure your shit out. All I'm saying is, if you have been doing the same thing over and over and over and over, and you haven't tried something different, and again, it doesn't need to be with me. Sometimes it's an accountability partner. Sometimes it's doing something in a different way that you haven't done before. I'm just offering you options and tools that you can use. I try to share as much as I can so you get the knowledge to get your ass moving and figuring out what the next step is in your life. But if you think that accountability is a big part that's missing, reach out to me. That is, for me, I feel like that's one of the biggest things that can get you in a rhythm, in a routine. Let's put a plan together. Let's put a strategy together. Okay, that's a lot of talking. I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.